Hello everyone and welcome. Laura here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a fun project to share with you featuring some of the new goodies from the WPlus9 winter release, and it is awesome. I'm going to show you how I created this card. To begin, I have my full-size MISTI. I'm using one of the MISTI creative corners there in the corner. That way I could bump my panel away from the edge because this image from the knit patterns hangs off the side. So I needed that little bit of room, but I wanted to make sure that my panel was straight and lined up. I'm going to ink up this knit patterns border stamp with Dewdrops ink, which is by Altenew. It's a very light aqua ink. And then the trick here is I'm not going to move the stamp. I put back in the MISTI creative corner and I slide the panel up. That way I know my panel stays straight. And then I know that my border image also stays straight, because before I did this, I tried to freehand it. And what I kept doing was going sideways, going crooked. I was not staying consistent, and it started to look really wonky. And then when I did this, I was like, bingo, everything stayed straight. So every time I stamp it, I slide the panel up. I put back in that creative corner and I slide it up. I don't have like an exact measurement of how much you need to slide it up. I'm sure there probably is one, but I just eyeballed it every time. It's pretty easy to line up, and then I ink it up each time with that same Dewdrops ink. But what you could do with this being like a strip is you could ink it up each time with a different color. You could make a rainbow background knit pattern. How cool would that be? You could also do a gradient. If you want to start with a light and work your way down to the dark. So many things you could do. You could customize this for different times of the year. Of course, I'm making a holiday card, although it's very non-traditional in color. I mean, I like to make red and green Christmas cards. I do, and I make some, but every once in a while you got to spice it up and make something totally non-traditional. And that's what I'm doing here. It's very light, pastel-y, and fresh. So like in our house, most of our decorations are very traditional, the red and green. And that's only because like 16 years ago when we bought the house, bought the decorations, then you realize, oh, now I'm stuck with these decorations. And every year you might buy one or two couple things, but you can't like replace all your Christmas decorations, so you're stuck with them. So here's the panel, it's finished. And then down at the bottom, I'll just trim off that little bit. So, but here's what happens when you go to Target. By the way, I'm die cutting this like panel from the Holly Jolly dies. Anyway, you go to Target, you see the new Christmas decorations, and you just want to cry because you want all new. You want all new, but you can't buy all new Christmas decorations because you got kids. And they want to do like stuff like eat and have shoes. And then so like you're stuck with the old red and green Christmas decoration. Now I stamped the sentiment from the Holly Jolly Christmas. I'm moving back to the Holly Jolly dies, and this is the outline for the Holly Jolly word die, which is right here. It says Holly Jolly. And I'm going to die cut that word die right into the outline. And this gives you a great little look. I love how this turns out. It kind of die cuts the letters right into the outline and shows you the negative space. See that? Isn't that cute? I'm going to go ahead and die cut another one of those outlines to put behind it. I'll ink blend on this one, which is going to bring the color in. And like I said, non-traditional, so I'm using worn lipstick, spice marmalade, and squeezed lemonade. And I'll tell you what, my Distress Oxide inks, getting a lot of use around here. And I'll tell you what I did was I labeled them. If you Google Ranger Ink organization, it'll take you to the page where they have all the labels you can print off. And I labeled my Oxide inks. It was the best thing I've ever done. And I love them. And they're right there, color-coded. And I didn't print them on the label sheet. A lot of people asked, did you print it on the label sheet? I just printed mine on cardstock, trimmed it out, and all that jazz. So I adhered the Holly Jolly over top of the ink blended thingamajiggy. Now for the little flowers, these are from the Holly Jolly dies. I'm not sure, you know what? These are probably holly. Is this holly flowers? Or mistletoe. Is that what this is? So I'm ink blending these with a little bit of festive berries, and then the larger one a little bit lighter with the worn lipstick. And then for the leaves, keeping it lighter with the twisted citron. So I didn't want to do too much floral, just a little smidge, just a smidge of flower. So I'm going to start adhering this card together, popping up that knit pattern background, and then I'm popping up my sentiment panel from the Holly Jolly stamp set and dies, and then here is the word die, popping that up right over top of the stamped Holly Jolly, and then a little smidge of flower right in the top center. I'm going to do the larger one and then layer the darker one right over top, and then tuck in the leaves on the sides. It's very clean and simple and fresh. And then for the center of the flower, I'm just going to glue one of those tiny little clear domes for a bit of shimmer. And this card is finished. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure and check out the new winter release at WPlus9. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a holly jolly wonderful day, and I will see you next time.